Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a phenomenal day. Let's take another look here at Celestia. This is a request from one of my community members here. Let's see who was it. See here. Future reference, my Discord, I got a request section there. Costas, thank you so much. He's one of our newer / returning members. Appreciate you, asking for this request. I'm trying to get through a few of these before I head off out of town here. Actually, is starting tomorrow. So future reference, I'll have slightly less analysis, but still the same scenario here. Nothing abnormal. Quick little thank you to my community as well. Nice little profit there from 32% on Near Protocol in 24 hours. That was a 5x leverage trade. We got an SUI short open. We can see that there's also an Ethereum and Bitcoin / Aave profits too. Aave and Bitcoin were shorts. Ethereum and Near Protocol were longs. So let's take a quick look here at the backend data and just kind of see what's going on. Generally speaking, when it comes to the liquidation levels, we really want to make sure we understand the overall sentiment, and it kind of helps give us direction on where the price might go. It's not a guarantee, but it kind of helps identify key supports and resistance levels. Keep in mind, liquidation occurs at those levels. Support and resistance doesn't occur as a result of liquidation, right? This is kind of more so the effect than the cause. But if we do take a look here, we can see $6.50 to $7. There's quite a big chunk of liquidation, and then of course a significant amount too, down around 450 / 460. But if we zoom out, we can see the true concentration here. This is more spread out over the last 30 days. We can see $6.50 to $7 at heavy concentration. Roughly quarter to a half a billion in liquidation per bar here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, somewhere in the range of $2 to $2.5 billion in liquidation at $7. So I think it seems more sensible for the price to go up than down. But a retracement, a pullback would make more sense too, because we got a fair value gap here. There's a decent amount of value there where the price action shot up too high and didn't get a chance to essentially secure any profits. So anyone who got in here, the whales that got in here, they're going to want to pull the price action back down here and essentially launch it from there, because there's good momentum. They're going to take a lot of selling pressure to get there, but they have that, right? They're the ones that push the price action higher. Just trust me on that. It's not you and I, not people like us, okay? So let's take a quick look at the daily time frame and recognize where we're at here. First of all, we want to clarify a couple of things on the daily. Now, the bigger picture here, just to clarify, there is a pretty significant descending trend line that has been retested multiple times, roughly 4 times over the last how many months? Since February. Okay, so ever since February, Celestia has been pulling back. So you got to keep in mind, in order for us to establish a bullish trend, we need to be able to break the more local highs and essentially retest those as support. So we're just going to go ahead and draw a line out here and just pay attention to that one later, because that's going to be a key level for us. We got a resistance at 725. Okay, so the price continues to run. 725 would make sense for a retracement, at least initially. Keep in mind too, we can see here just above this area of liquidation is 725. So it makes sense for the price to run up there, sweep all the liquidation, pull back, and effectively, as if it never happened, right? Anyways, I'm pointing that out just to be mindful, because it's okay to be bullish, but don't be blindly bullish. And there's a lot of value, of course. You can see this here too. Another reason why there's extra liquidation to the upside, because a lot of profit is still left here from that previous short, successful trade on July 23rd. All right, so now that we've kind of established that, let's talk a little bit about the overall sentiment here on the daily. And we can recognize, unlike most coins, we're above 50 on the RSI. While stochastic is fairly maxed out and MACD is converging, we can kind of see here that we're above some moving averages here, specifically the 20, right? So we're above this descending trend line. We're above the 20-day SMA, and now tentatively so far today, likely to close above, we are above that 50-day SMA. So what this does is reaffirms the support at $6. I'm rounding up a little, more like $5.95, but there's a support at $6 based on those moving averages and the fact that if the price pulls back, RSI will likely get a bounce off 50. So these are mostly bullish signs. These are very good things to trade into. We take a look at the 4-hour time frame. We can recognize a very similar scenario here. The 200-day SMA is hanging out right there where the 50 is, about $5.85. It's extremely important level. We can see 50 on the RSI is far below the price action, and 70 is the more local resistance here. Okay, so we keep getting topped out at 70 on the RSI. So every time the price comes up, it cools off and has a nice little cooling period. So I'd say 595 is going to be a solid consideration for entry. I'm going to go ahead and just set an alert there to revisit this later. I'm not just going to jump blindly into that area, but I can tell you that we're going to probably see some decent support, because you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 4-hour candles, about 24 hours worth of resistance right there at that level. Okay, that's a pretty big deal. Either way, MACD is converging, stochastic swinging up. There's a lot of reasons why the price is more likely to go higher than lower. But me personally, I'm more of a buy the dip or buy the retracement and try to catch that next key fib level, that support level, versus jumping into the top right now. Because Bitcoin is cooling off a little bit. This coin, including other coins too, specifically some of the coins that we took a trade with, like what was it, Near Protocol, for example. The price shot up pretty significant for Near. And again, a lot of that was hinging on the fact that Bitcoin did too. But pay attention to how the coins respond to this pullback, and that tells you a lot about the strength of the coin. So with this coin pulling back, it leads me to believe that we're probably going to fill that fair value gap and get a bounce somewhere around $6. This is all pending Bitcoin doesn't take a nosedive to 55 or 50,000, right? You got to recognize that's always a caveat here. Another thing to recognize too, and this is a bigger picture thing, is a rising wedge. Rising wedge patterns do have a tendency of breaking down, okay? So hypothetically, the price action comes down to this area here. You may want to consider not getting too heavy with a long position. Mainly because, again, this is these breakout only maybe 55-60% of the time. They're a lower successful type of pattern, but again, it's still something to be mindful of. Conversely, we also see Elliott wave here, essentially giving us indication that we may see a bounce off 0.5 or 0.382. Right? These are two considerations. If we come down to 0.618, that would invalidate the trend, and you definitely want to close your long position. Maybe consider a short with a bearish backtest of this ascending trend line. Those are just things that I like to look for. Again, it's not an exact science, but absolutely something that's kind of happening here. If we do take a look at Ichimoku Cloud, got a lot of support here. The upper lead is consolidating right there at 595. All the more reason why we maybe want to consider after that fair value gap is filled to take a long. Furthermore, if we take a look at conversion line, lagging span, everything looks pretty green here. So there's no reason to open a short position right now. You're much better off waiting for a better long than you are to take a short into it. Okay, it's just the way the market is right now. I wouldn't say it's bullish at all, but when coins move like this and Bitcoin is behaving the way that it is, it makes total sense to be more patient, wait for a good long, than the inverse there, essentially just shorting your shirt off to the next available target. Because there's no guarantee this fair value gap is going to get filled or 595 will bounce. But if it comes there and it seems to consolidate and Bitcoin's holding its levels, I think it might be worth taking it along at that point. So again, this is going to be on my list here. Future reference, if you're new to my Discord and or community, I do have a Pioneer package, of course. If you're considering it, these trade alerts are available there too, right? So either way you look at it, I do have a lot of good options here where SUI, for example, I explained why we took our trade earlier. These are all trade alerts that become trade signals eventually. Okay, so if you're kind of curious what my thoughts are here for Celestia, there's a good chance I'll probably provide a detailed analysis there so you can make your own informed decision. All right, that's all available for you. I hope you learned something today. Thanks again so much for watching. Please comment below, like the video at the very least, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.